What do I love about Warren Buffett? He knows what he knows and he knows what he doesn't know. Like I saw, he shouted out to Tim Cook, Apple, but he allows the brains, the smart people, to do what they're good at. One is everybody being honest. That's part of the team of the business plan. Everybody has competency in the boxes that are happening. Someone could be going through a divorce, or someone just had, God forbid, a death in their family, and they don't have the time. Honesty, competency, time. I want to hear their story. What does that mean to me? I think of, what do we do in our business? The hardest thing is to stick the flashlight on yourself, but not have regret about it. It's harder now, or whenever it is, but do that work and sacrifice.
Hi, and welcome to Common Denominator. I'm Dave Aizer, and your host extraordinaire, Moshe Popak, is in the guest seat today because we're talking about business ethics, and you are an expert in that topic. Moshe, as you probably know, but maybe you don't know, is the co-founder and chairman of YMP Real Estate Management. They've got a presence in 7 states and over $1.5 billion in total assets, which is all impressive, but perhaps most impressively is that you've done it all ethically, proving that nice guys can finish first. And that's what we want to talk about in this episode today, business ethics. So first off, when you hear business ethics, what does that mean to you?
I think it's actually the correct way. I remember years ago, because my general personality, right, and we've talked about this before on the show, is that you think about business, right? So it's like you got to be ruthless and you got to just do whatever it takes all the time. But what happens is, what's actually happening when you do that? When you do that, and even if you have the upper hand on somebody else on a negotiation or something that's going on, what ends up happening is that the next deal or your reputation down the road, what ends up happening is that they won't call you when there's something that needs to happen and they didn't make the full commission or they didn't get what they felt they should get, the other side. Again, you won't get that phone call. And also, so what's actually happening, what's the price to pay? You have sleepless nights too, right? So if you're bordering things that are not necessarily ethical, because there's tons of money that could be made trying your best to over communicate and do the right thing. It doesn't mean you get it right every time. The gauge is like the gut instinct in your gut, in your heart. If you feel, you know what, I've over communicated, I've thought about this, I've done the hard work, I'm doing the best I can, and you put that out, in those scenarios, then you'll have the opportunity to do well in business and also sleep well at night.
Yeah. Is this, in your case, a learned behavior? Have you always been this way in business? Take me back to the beginning. Have you always tried to have the utmost in ethics, or maybe you learned some lessons along the way? What's your personal journey been?
I was told from a young age that maybe I should be a doctor. I have a more like sensitive type of personality, but I looked at the stats and I knew I wanted to have a family. I have a big family now. And
11 kids, by the way, for those who don't know. Yes.
This is true. And it was, but I wanted to provide, a good lifestyle. I didn't know what would happen, but I knew I would have to take certain risks. So, but my general personality, I'll give you an example. When I was younger, I have 4 brothers, or 5 brothers altogether, maybe 7 or 8 years old. And my older brothers and my younger brother would beat up on me. And I never really would hit them back. And my dad would be like, why don't you do something? He's like, because I would hurt them. That's just who I am. That's always who I've been. So I had to figure out kind of like the backwards way, kind of like this, how to put square peg, round hole. Here I am, but I want to have success. This is what I know. So it was kind of learned behavior, but stick to truth, meaning that idea of, if you think about something and you say it, it doesn't exist so much nowadays. You do what you say. Even if you say, no, I can't do this, but the world will respect you. I say no. I get pitches, I get stuff every day, 10, 15, every day. People coming at me all different ways, for business, for charity, for different things. And I have to know the things that I've committed to. And I just say no most of the time till it meets to the larger commitments to my family, to the several hundred employees that we have. It has to work. That's why most things don't work.
Yeah.
But if it does work, then I over-communicate and I move fast, confidentially.
Can you come up with an example off the top of your head in your own business with YMP where someone's approached you with a deal and you probably could have made a ton of money on it, but maybe it wasn't ethically sound and you passed, or just something that's happened along the way where ethics played a part in it?
So I, in a different hat, but it was a large development site, and I found the buyer, and I was gonna maybe work together with this buyer that my commission and I would put more money in, because I buy existing properties, and this is a development site, and I was gonna get involved with him, and I found the buyer and put him with the seller, and the seller said, no, you didn't really find the buyer, and I probably lost several millions of dollars because I chose not to sue. I was in the right. I had all the emails and documentation and everything, because I believe it kind of like in the universe. Mm-hmm. I've seen it. It's always the things that I work on, and I've said this a number of times, they never work out. And the things that are meant for you, those are the things that work out. And every time that I take the high road and I choose to have peace, to be grateful for the things that I do have, the next day, the next week, boom, an email, oh, there's a wire for this, or this insurance proceeds came through, or something strange.
Yeah.
I promise you, I've been doing this about 20 years, and that is exactly how it goes.
And it's funny because you talk about this the way that you talk about buying and holding properties, which is to say it's a long game. Mm. And for all of the people watching at home who are entrepreneurs, small business owners, and maybe they're facing their own sort of ethical quandaries, I think what you're telling them in part, and we've got a lot to talk about today, but right now is like, just chill. Yeah. Right? Don't chase the dollar. Don't chase a move even if you feel like you need money, because just be patient, right?
You got to be patient. So what is the worst case scenario in the patience? In the patience is I'm not going to have the fast car or the home that I want right now, but I have clarity that in 5 years or 10 years from now, I will have that. It happens very fast. People don't realize COVID was 5 years ago, beginning of COVID, and that went by like nothing. And the end of the day is the more... it's funny because I just saw the other day Warren Buffett is retiring, 60 years, right, running Berkshire Hathaway. And I always, and a lot of people, the Oracle of Omaha, right, like brilliant. But if you think about it, what he did is he chose one thing. I'm going to be the turtle. And I always say that. I always think about myself as the turtle, slow and steady. And he does what he does in companies, I try to emulate in real estate. So what I do is, okay, for many years, interest rates are low and the market's high, and everybody's running to do deals. I'm a contrarian investor, so I wait, and I hold long term. So I wait for the opportunity when the market's low, which is now lower compared to, you can't go back in the past for the next 10 years. And I buy real estate, it's the price you pay, at a lower basis than what it was at the peak. And all you do is you hold and you manage. And you should have a 10-year horizon. Each asset, okay, 10 years, where am I gonna be? And you hold it. And real estate, just like what Warren Buffett was doing, he has an insurance vehicle. And in the insurance vehicle, his taxes are deferred. So all the money compounds in in the vehicle. So real estate allows for that because you have something called depreciation, which is, it's complicated, but the idea is that you can make income, but it has losses, it has paper losses. So your money keeps staying in the business, and your refinance money from the real estate that you're still holding is also tax-free. So everything stays in the pot, and over time, your returns over a 10-year period, if you're buying in a normal, slow and steady, let's say 3% growth area, and real estate is also a hedge against inflation. So it's a lower risk if you use a little bit of leverage, and over time, you will probably beat the market out. I saw Warren Buffett's returns were like averaging like 19%. And the same thing if you hold over 10 years for real estate.
So you mentioned Buffett, and from an ethical perspective, can you give us a couple of business leaders that you admire that you think have gotten it right ethically?
Well, for sure, I'd say Warren Buffett. What do I love about Warren Buffett? He knows what he knows, and he knows what he doesn't know. He allows the leeway. He gets the price, fine, he buys the stock. But he has great relationships with the people. Like I saw, he shouted out to Tim Cook, Apple, but he allows the brains, the smart people, to do what they're good at. And I believe that that's ethical. Like, there's many things that I'm not good at. I spend most of my time looking for people that love doing what I'm not good at. And I'm open and I'm curious, and I want to hear. There's no ego. If you go with ego to the up and ego to the down, which means everything's on you. But if you're collaborating with a team, the odds of success are that much better.
Yeah, and so to the point of finding people to do the stuff that you don't love doing, ethically, if you have to, because they say you've got to be tough and you've got to be mean and you've got to lay down the law, and if maybe that's not your strength, how do you square that as a business leader? That sometimes you're going to have tough conversations, but you find someone and you hire someone who can do that, and still do it ethically?
Well, what you do is I like to do the evaluation, give people feedback, but I want them to also do feedback. It's like a 360 review. It's very hard for people to be self-aware. I try to be self-aware. Again, that's how you figure out your strengths and weaknesses. But in that conversation with adults, even if it's hard conversations, they become easier because these are the facts. This is what it is, right? You told me that in 2 days, this project would be done. It's 4 days later. The project is not done, but not just that. As an adult, you didn't send me an email that the project I need 2 more days. So that there's a management. I'm constantly thinking about management of expectation of everybody around me. So I over-communicate. It's going to be long. It's going to be hard. It's going to take a really long time. That's the conservative, always with the conservative approach. And if we do better, that's good. But in that, now in this environment where I've bought deals, yeah, I got a good price, right? I got a good price, but I've been able to buy deals and people are coming back around because I don't retrade and I do what I say and I keep it confidential. And so over time, that compounding result makes a big difference.
And so what are the challenges of being ethical in a business world where a lot of people are not? Right? It's hard enough for the person to be ethical the whole time, but then you're working with people, you're collaborating with people are scheming behind your back. There's a lot of moving pieces, and I'm asking this because, again, for our audience, for our viewers and listeners, they're probably dealing with this too.
I'll tell you honestly, as I'm growing, and the deals are getting bigger and things are happening, they say be careful to meet your heroes because they may disappoint you. I've had that over the past few months. I've met in business certain celebrities, certain athletes, certain things I've been privileged to meet. And just that, they say something to me, the word, because that's my standard. I try my best, and if I'm not gonna be able to do it, again, I'll communicate, oh, can I get another 2 days? Can I get another 4 days? But that's what I'm seeing, and I'm having to learn to be soft on myself, on my expectation of others, realize we're only human, realize where I came from, to have grace, because that's what it is. That's what it is, meaning even on the highest levels, and we've interviewed top performers, but imagine actually, they make it, that's the thing of a top performer in anything, in business, in athleticism, anything they're doing. To the outside eye, like a magician. They make it seem like nothing's happening. Right now, I'm talking to you right now, is 7,000. I'm going around the world 7,000 times. Because there's many things, right? I have 11 kids. I have, several hundred employees. We have this, that,
right.
Everything. Right before I sat down here, there was who knows how many things I was dealing with. And you know this, right?
Uh-huh.
And you have to be able to split in your mind and be present here.
But to jump in on that, because I would think that I would think with as busy as you are, and by the way, he is not exaggerating about the 7,000 emails, because I know there's a phone blowing up right over there. But I think the fact that you have this North Star, this integrity, because you have that, I'm guessing it makes all of the decisions that you have to deal with in your day easier, right? Because you're not thinking about a shortcut here or a compromise here. How could I get around this here? You're just like, I want to go to bed tonight and I want to look in the mirror and I want to feel good about myself. Got to make the decision-making process easier.
The North Star, or meaning, purpose, whatever you want to call that, if you have that and you have discipline to that and you're consistent to that, your emotional success, you'll get your success from that, having a higher power or something that, but each person has to set that up. Whatever that person, if you go about, I've seen so much of that, and I had that in my life. You're jumping here, when I was younger, you're jumping here, but set those 10, 20-year goals. Set the goals for your children, your grandchildren, things that, whatever it happens to be. Because the truth is, as much as you see, even go from the highest levels, President of the United States, look at what it is. 1 week he says something, 2 weeks later something else. And whether I blame him or not, it's not about that. But you see that from so many people. And everybody's pivoting. You have the lawyers, you have the stuff. But clear, because we're living in times unknown. But it's always been that way.
Right.
And with AI, everything's speeding up. So you have, the real work is trying to be as present as you can be with something greater that's guiding you. And it doesn't mean, it could be a spiritual practice, it could mean family, it could mean community, it could mean whatever it means for each person, because on the tough days, if you don't have that, you don't have an anchor when it's tough. And most of the days are actually tough.
Tough, yeah. So, okay, practically speaking then, for people watching who get it, but also they've got a mortgage and they've got bills and they quit their business to start their business, et cetera, et cetera. What do you think they can do practically to be present, to play the long game, to lead with gratitude? I know like meditation is a big part of your life. I know gratitude practice is a big part of your life. You think those things help set people up ethically for success?
I think that the expectation has to be extremely high for yourself. But then everyone outside of yourself, you have to go as far down to zero expectation as possible. That sets up, just practically, it sets up that that's what you can do. That you won't have, because it's about control of emotion. Right? If every time something goes wrong, and remember, the bigger the machine, things will go wrong many times a day. Right, I just saw something.
17 things have gone wrong since you've been on this podcast. I'm sure that the phone is on fire back there.
I saw, I didn't actually see the whole interview, but some comedian interviewed Mark Zuckerberg. Okay. I forgot his name, maybe last week. And, I'm up 7 o'clock, whatever time he's up. And he's just, from the time he's up for a couple hours, just putting out the fires. But if you want that, you have to know that that is what it is. They show you on social media, they show you whatever it is to have abundance. Yes, you can have that, but in a practical way. With that is an energy, and people can come attack, and they can come different ways, and you can be nice to people, and you can turn down people nicely, but the price you have to know going in. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. If your personality can be a critical thinker, be a problem solver. That's what the skill set is, and strategy. Because if you're just going willy-nilly, and again, back to your old point, the point is you don't have a North Star, you don't have something anchoring you, then it's much easier, the result won't happen. And in this world, the result for you, for your family, people you care about, that's important. You want to get there. There's so many people I know just phase out and...
Okay, so but you can't do it all by yourself.
Yeah.
You need a team. When you are interviewing prospective employees, team members, staff members, whatever you want to call them, what questions do you ask regarding ethics? Great, the resume looks great. You went to Yale, this, that, and the other thing. Terrific. How do you and your team ascertain if somebody ethically is going to be a good fit?
I want to hear their story. What does that mean to me? I think of, what do we do in our business? We're a contrarian investor. What does that mean? The properties that we bought, other management companies failed. Okay, we know that. So they have to be wired on a consistent basis the other way. Not a typical wiring, which means their skill set, obviously all different skill sets, but that they've been through hell and back.
Yeah.
In their version, whatever it happens to be, because all different fact patterns, their belief systems were shattered, and now, because I've heard this term and I love it, they're on their second mountain. I didn't have a lot of that. I'm chasing that still with the team. I'm so proud of the team that I have now, because they love the combined, when we as a team get results done that are not normal, we all celebrate together. We're finally at that place. Never thought we'd be here. So grateful that without me, that they're sitting there, because I would do whatever it takes for years and years and years, and so would Yafa, right? We work together, and different sides of the brain, and okay, there's no room, there's no space for me to whine and complain. Oh my God, this person didn't do that. No, we're doing it because that needs to happen, and the buck stops by me or Yafa as us together, and that's it. And now I'm seeing, wow, I can breathe. 20 years, right?
So let that be a lesson to you. If you're starting a business, just wait 20 years and then you can breathe.
No, but lots of blessings in between. Look, it's not normal that while all this is going on, we're having 11 children. Yafa's pregnant and nursing, right? I had 6 kids, 3 in a 3-bedroom apartment at 35 years old,
right?
Living with my in-laws, 3-bedroom, right? So that is choices. Kids in their 20s, okay, now they're saying if you're in your 20s, try everything, be whatever. Why can't you, at your early 20s, be intentional? Don't be aggressive about it. Set up in your 20s, set up whatever it is. So when you're in your 30s, don't just start at 30, right? Okay, I want to make something myself. I don't want to just hang out at the club every night and go, out. Set something.
Yeah.
Do something.
And to that point, your 2 oldest boys, who are still teenagers, are already doing really well in the business space. Have you talked to them about ethics? Because I'm sure they're already seeing it. They're already seeing people who don't comport themselves the way that they should. What have you told your kids about business ethics as they emerge on their careers?
All the time, tell the truth. All the time, do exactly what you say and over-communicate. Stick with that, because everything in business is either a service or a widget. It's all the same stuff. And watch, because they have experienced other people that haven't kept their word, that have been untrue, that have manipulated. There's so many areas in business of manipulation. So it's funny, I was thinking about earlier today, most things are no movement. No. I'm not going to do it at this point in my life. When you're younger, you have to take calculated risk, but you have to calculate that risk. Most people, if they're going to jump, they don't calculate. But fine, okay, there's a risk there. But the upside is so much greater. So I tell my kids, 19, 17, take the risk. Do it. Go. It's this age, but speak the truth. Say exactly what it's going to be. And do all the hard work. And don't look to make the quick money. I tell them, wait.
Right. That was my follow-up question, which is the money conversation. What do you tell your kids about money?
They want like everybody, okay? They want to have success early. A lot of my work is calm down. A lot of that, I'm grateful that they want to make it on their own. That they don't want to just, let me just, grab on to my parents. But two boys work together in their own business. And Mendy, my oldest, he's been working for us, but nothing. You're silent. You're learning. He's only 19. He actually did college online. Now he's in business school and just got into law school a couple of days ago. So I'm really proud of him that he has a work ethic. Work really hard towards goals. And I saw this from David Goggins. Everybody knows. Everybody knows themselves. Everybody knows what it is. The hardest thing is to take the flashlight on yourself, to be extremely honest, again, that pen to paper, and but not have regret about it. Start. It's harder now, or whenever it is, but do that work and sacrifice. For instance, me. My kids are on me. They're very into health and fitness. I've been having this, it's 15 pounds that I got to lose, right? And for me, I like to snack on something. I like to do something. But I know, and I'll be 45 soon, I know what my story is. Am I going to do it? This is my challenge.
Right.
This is my challenge because I know that I want to have a lot of energy. And if I know that I'm not healthy, I'm trying. But I know what it is. It's decision. It's like in everything. He's like, Dad, you make decisions on all other things. Why can't you do that here? And they're on me like crazy. And I'm like, you're right.
Chocolate is delicious. That's why, that's why it's amazing.
Yeah. I know. The same way I'm hard on them, not hard, but direct. They're hard on me when it comes to my health and fitness. They want me to.
They want you to be around for a while.
Yeah.
So you mentioned your boys are working together and that you work with your wife, and it got me to think, if someone is going to start a business with a sibling or a best friend, should there be a written agreement ahead of time, a contract? I get 50%, you get 50%. Like you think, well, this is one of my most loved, cherished people. There's no way there's going to be a problem about money 5 years down the road. But you think as best practice should always be something?
Everything. You go in, everything should be in writing with lawyers. No matter handshake, no matter anything, because it avoids fights later. What happens in a scenario? Brothers, and they get married. And it could be one of the wives wants to go on vacation for a month or whatever she wants to do. In the end, it's the wife. So the boy's torn. You put things in writing, everybody understands what the story is. Down to the details. Spend the time. Take the time to do that.
I want to do we've never done this before, but a couple of rapid fire questions.
Sure.
I think these will be fun. Give me a one-word association for profit.
Abundance.
Great. Finish this sentence. A leader who cuts corners is?
Small-minded.
What is the biggest business myth in 10 seconds?
You can do business with joy and gratitude and love.
Okay. And then last one, some quick advice. How do you apologize when the company messes up?
Immediately, front and center.
Okay, that was great. They were supposed to be rapid fire, and they were. Okay, just a couple more. One is your legacy. How do you want to be remembered in the business box?
Hopefully, to create tremendous value for lots of people, impact down to Yafa and the kids, and down to the grandchildren that hopefully they follow in that. They work extremely hard. They do all the hard stuff, and it's easy, hopefully, to do business with them. That business will come to them because they kept the reputation. That's the hope, and because for them, the ripple effect to them, they'll hopefully have better lives for my family and everybody associated with them. I always think, is this a win-win? Are there alliances? If you go into business and it's not a win-win, and somebody's not happy or reasonably unhappy or in that space, you shouldn't do it. No movement. I think of three things. That reminded me of three things as far as movement in business. One, is everybody being self-aware, honest? Is everybody honest? That's part of the team of the business plan. Does it exist that everybody has competency in the boxes that are happening? And I think I've mentioned this. And the third thing is someone could be going through a divorce, one of your team members, or someone just had, God forbid, a death in their family, and they don't have the time. The time. Honesty, competency, time. I found that if one of those three is missing, any of those three is missing, don't make movement. Don't do it. No matter how good the deal looks, you're going in without one of those three, finished.
Yeah.
So
that's well said. As we wrap up and we talk about something you're grateful for, in the context of what we've covered today, business, ethical business, the way that your kids are maturing into the business world, the way that you've built a team, what are you most grateful for? Or maybe it's a few of those things.
Well, it says in the Talmud, which is part of the Old Testament, and I thought about this last night, to have, at least in this moment, so I got to say what I'm truly grateful for, to have a family and that they're healthy and that you have the ability to provide for them all at the same time is actually very rare. It's very rare to be able to do that over a period of time. My hope and prayer is that that will continue. This constant juggling, I hope I'll be healthy to do that. And I'm grateful today that that exists.
That's awesome. So. And then the last thing is, what is the common denominator of a successful, ethically driven business?
You have to constantly focus on humility. Because again, we know nothing. And anybody, I've seen it so many times, anybody that believes that they have a little bit of something, a knowledge and understanding, I've watched it 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, boom, the universe does that. It's crazy. Keep your head down and be grateful.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, thank you for the time. Now you can go deal with your phone.
It's been a pleasure. I always love this, Dave.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And hopefully give some value and make some movement and give back. So it's great.
And thanks to everybody for being part of the Common Denominator family, for hanging out with us, for listening to Moshe and myself. And if you have not already subscribed and liked and shared and commented and all that stuff, please do so on your favorite podcast platform. It definitely helps us. It helps us get great guests. It helps us continue to have these awesomely meaningful conversations. Moshe will be back in this seat next week, and you'll be talking to more wonderful, fabulous people.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Of course. Thanks, everybody.